Welcome back to Tyler Talks. I'm going to talk for a little bit. So, this is Peace in Bethany. It's a concept deck. It is at 50 cards. It's using a few concepts. Some stuff I'm trying out and that I like and think should see more play, or a couple different ideas. I took John Early's defense because I wanted to talk about this guy today, 12 Finger Giant. Jeremy and I talked about him, and I've used him before. I've talked about him before, and I was like, why is no one using this guy? Jeremy messaged me randomly. I did a video a while back saying why I don't know why anyone uses him. Why isn't he being used? And Jeremy messaged me and saying that he didn't understand why people weren't using 12 Finger Giant. And that was separate from my video from a long time ago. I made a change. I'm sorry. And um, so I wanted to talk about him. He's extremely good. Use him. The end. So he negating banding is great, especially when it's CBN. I mean, anytime you're CBN, it's usually only has upsides. But he's CBN and gets the negate band is great. You're stopping hospitality, child is born, banner of love. You're also stopping some hero abilities. But the negate toss is really good. We're seeing a lot of John the Fisherman. But also, people are still using Herod's Temple as good. I mean, that's always a good attack if it's just lone. Especially like if you're running Pot of Mana in like a GOC offense, which no one's doing that. I don't know why, but Pot of Mana and GOC, they like banding too much, but they forget that GOC has some of the strongest like lone heroes too. The Tossers, Martha, Zacchaeus, Mary, Holy Virgin, just some of the strongest lone heroes. So Pot of Mana is very good. A Pot of Mana deck built around Mary, Holy Virgin would be pretty ridiculous. So anyway, 12 Finger Giant also stops the toss on Herod's Temple. He's just really good, especially when you have an armor bearer to just snag him. I would like a weapon in reserve here, and I could add it, but so the other thing is using New Testament Unity, and maybe I should bring in Lawless. I'm just not sure. I guess the only thing that could come out for Lawless, I actually really like Forsaken in this build. Maybe it's dull, but Forsaken is another card that I just not being played. Derek Torado, you remember him? He sent me a list, so he's been busy. But he did make a very solid Derek, as I like to call it, build. He has his own school of thought, and he had Forsaken in it, and we talked about it, and I was like, I don't know if you need Forsaken, and then just kind of seeing, oh, that's that's just a good lost soul right now. Like there's a lot of CBI and negatable banding. So a lot of CBI and there's non-negatable banding right now. And then we go back to, of course, the enhancements. So Forsaken actually is good, and people are going to forget about it. Like forget it that it's down. The other thing is it negates opponents, not yours. And this goes into harvest time rather quickly, so anything I can do to annoy my opponent is good. I also like Forsaken with Angel Lord, where I can ban, you can't, and I drop an Angel Lord. I like Imitate everything here. This is a Jaden thing where he's playing Defiled, off-res Revealer, real quick, harvest time, and he can Imitate Defiles, doing it in Type 2, pretty nasty, and just getting a massive draw. For Nazareth decks, if you can Imitate Defiled, each time they put a card in battle, you're drawing 2 at minimum. So, pretty good. So let's see. The other thing is, of course, like New Covenant, Angel Appears, Res Revealer. That's really good. You got Patmos and Love Righteousness. What we're trying to do is get that Res Revealer out there, and we can get to Simon and to Mary, And what we do is we can go Res Revealer and play the Resurrection and get one of the other two that we need. So between like Patmos, Love Righteousness, Resurrection, like we should be able to get what we need. Even if it's not turn one, that's okay. Strong characters. And what we want, and you can make this way more. Like you can go Virgin Birth. You could play Hopper. That's dangerous in this. Or you can change the Lost Souls in general. Like you can bring Distressed in here. But there are other ways that you can make this more efficient as well. And so what we do is we go Resurrection Revealer and we trigger Mary the Restored. So we get the negates and our characters still work. However, if we bring in Peter with Nazi, then we don't get the if block from hand. So you could negate everything and draw two and potential to toss the next. And then when you're blocked, you just grab Nazi if you want. Because you can't take anything when Nazi's down. So if Simon plays. So you just kind of have to see what you want to do. But what we like to do is get that harvest time real quick with a Nazi down. And then we kind of go harvest time, Nazi, and we have defiled and crowds and dole, and we're imitating something, and we have humble. Dole's not great in this. It's just I expect Nazi to get blown up very quickly. So that's why I have stable and dole. So if you can get rid of Nazi, then I can still do things. If not, it's okay. I could always give you dole for a Lost Soul. And if you get rid of Nazi, then boom, there you go. So I wasn't entirely sure what to do. I don't like fully a Nambo, which means like you have cards going against each other in the deck. But that's just kind of how it works with Nazi. And of course, you can imitate anything, and you got Humble, Forsaken, and Salty. So we're trying to use kind of like, once again, a concept deck. We're using a little bit of a concept of Soul Surfer to where we can get down these nasty Lost Souls. I like using it with Nazi and Defiled in this one because I am trying that concept. So Chad does Soul Surfer. Jaden's doing New Testament. Not Soul Surfer, but playing New Testament Unity with Nazi. So I was like, you know what, that's really good. And that's where I've been talking about, where you just pull the best things from the game and put it all together. So let's use New Testament Unity with Nazi. Get it out there real quick. Harvest Time works through Nazi. So even if they have their own, I can still get myself into a really good board state that puts them on the defensive. Book of the Law still gives me my bounce, and it's a great opening hand card as well. And it was Temple Veil, but just that opening 8 is too good. Temple Veil's so I'm not gonna ever dog on a card that gives you hand advantage opening hand. Like, that's really good, assuming you have the hero for it. But Book of the Law is really good. That's pretty much it. I really like Banner of Love, especially John, having something to play off John. And the last thing we do, which is why the deck's called Peace and Bethany, is, and this came from Joe Schaaf and I talking, the Watchful Leaders, you just make them Jerusalem, and then they can ban to everything. So we put Peace on the Watchful Leaders, and that's where Peace in Jerusalem comes from. All these are Jerusalem heroes. And I was like, well, what's the best like band? So let's give us some room to work with. So let's say we put Peace on Watchful Leaders, and Watchful Leaders is Jerusalem. He can band to the Bethany trio. So first you would go Mary, Martha, Lazzy. And now we have a protected Mary that's restricting evil dominance. They have to reserve an evil card in their hand. All my Bethany heroes cannot be negated. And then I can convert to negate evil cards, and I get to draw 3. So, and all enhancements are being tossed. So usually with Lazzy, I don't have to convert him. I can just push this band out. And this is a really good offense for like goys, if you're worried about goys at type 1 and you still want something fast and really strong. This is a good one. So peace on Watchful Leaders. And if you're worried, like peace with salty doesn't work. So a lot of times though, salty is negated, or they son of got it, or if I lose a battle, I can give it up. I'm not reliant on peace in this. It's just a strong banding in general. The other aspect, or the other band I can do, is the Empty Tomb band. So another 3-hero band where I feel like I'm missing one. One, two, three. Yeah, I'm missing Joanna. What are you doing, Joanna? Get in there. Do I want to take anything out or just leave it as is? We'll leave it. So right now we're at 51. So we get a four bander on top of Watchful Leaders. So now we have Jerusalem, Watchful Leaders still, with that bands to Mary. So Mary's protected. If they block from hand, then I get CBN enhancements that are negated. I don't care. And then I can convert to band to any number. And then if they block from hand, then I get the Protect Lost Souls and this card from Evil Cards. I don't need to flip. And then same with Mary, I get to take. I can flip if I want, but I really don't feel like I need to. And then Joanna, I can get the toss, and if I want to, I can flip and draw 2. So this is a really, really strong band. So is this, and it's the opponent has to stop both. And if I'm not doing Watchful Leaders in peace, I don't need peace. Watchful Leaders is Jerusalem, protects the first, and gets a big band. If I have peace, even better. And then still Jerusalem, so he can go peace to Peter, Peter to John. And now I have this band. And I've got a toss, draw 2, big band, toss all. So really strong bands that I can add peace on to just annoy you. Bethlehem Stable's in here for the assuming Nazi's going to get blown up. And then I can start accessing my reserve. I don't have to play Nazi, but it's pretty solid. So you can move around some stuff on this deck, and it's really strong. It can do a lot, and it also attacks the opponent in different ways than they're used to being attacked. Jared did really well with an Empty Tomb build last year, and I know he could have done better too. I think he had a misplay in one of his games, and that's not calling Jared out. That's I believe it was his report that's saying he could have done better, and he was still up there, and Jared would have top cut this year. But I'm saying, like, Empty Tomb's really strong, but it's just not played. I just think it's a little too technical and advanced for people, and it's like, well, I gotta play white, I gotta play clay, do I want silver? They have to block from hand, I gotta bounce my own, and people just look past the aspect of most of the time characters are being blocked from hand, and it is forcing the opponent to think. And if you can force the opponent to constantly think about everything they do, you're in a good spot. I don't think I talked about Philosophy and Evade. I love these 2 cards in here. I think that's all I have to say about that. So yeah, with Empty Tomb, like, you're getting this huge band, and if you're like, you know what, I want to use my reserve in here, and maybe this isn't a Nazi deck, but I really like Harvest Time with Nazi with these Lost Souls. Like, that's very strong. So maybe this isn't a Nazi deck, and you're just getting wheat and tears. You can take out Nazi for Chamber, and then Bethlehem Stable can get you to Gabriel turn 2, and you can just, or you can bring in Heavenly Host, and you can start making tokens, and you can start doing wheat and tears, and just bounce and get the block from hand. Chamber with Bethlehem Stable, there's a lot to do. If you're wondering why Mary's in the reserve, because Watchful Leaders isn't gospel, and I can always bounce Watchful Leaders and just attack with Mary if I want to. So there's a lot of outlets, a lot of ways to play this deck. A lot of different bands right up the front. Peace is just not played. Banner of Love off toss characters is always phenomenal. And of course, you got the big banding in Peace on both aspects. But you also have the Nazareth with the souls down to kind of lock them down a little bit. It's just really good in general. It's really fast. So we'll do a quick run through. So yeah, we'll see how it works. And let's go. Don't forget about your stars because you got happy about your lost souls. Okay, so first we can kind of see, like, I kind of put my stars together and kind of look at them. So, and then I'm like, okay, what can I not do? Play Meek Disciple from deck, and I lose John the Fisherman. No thanks. I can underdeck a hero from each hand. I have a ton of heroes. I could underdeck a hero from each hand if I wanted to. That would give me a hand look. Plus, I just have a lot. So I think that would be a very good idea. And then I can top deck a gospel human or a gospel hero from each deck. I'm sorry, I don't know why I put each in there. Top deck a gospel hero from deck. And I look knowing that my lost souls won't mess with Mary. So I absolutely would do both. And my first thing I would do is I'd underdeck a hero from each hand. So I'd look at theirs, underdeck a hero, and then I get to underdeck a hero from my hand. I think it's Peter, because I already have a good, but then I can go Watchful Leaders to Peter, and boom, I got Nazi. Turn 1 with a Watchful Leaders to Peter band. Like, that's not bad. Not entirely sure. So I think we underdeck Peter for my next thing I'm going to do. So we underdeck Peter. And then we did that first because we get to search our deck. So he's not truly under our deck, but their hero is. And then we reveal all. And we are happy going second here if we get to. So we shuffle, put that on. And then hopefully we just kind of block with him and see if that's enough. They're not really going to ban anyway because Forsaken. I really don't want to go to Goliath because I want that Res Revealer. But if I know, hey, it's better to go to Goliath if you know you can't block turn 1, then that's what I would do. That's why I was afraid of getting rid of Peter. So now we could imitate and imitate Dole. We can still activate 4 Drachma, knowing we can go to it. And we're not negating neutrals. So, like, that's another thing. If we wanted, we don't have to get Nazi. So, like how Jaden does it. I did this last year with Resurrection Revealer to Harvest Time, like in my Type 2. Jaden went all New Testament souls with it. I was doing, like, different types of Lost Souls. So you can go Resurrection Revealer, and get your Bethlehem stable all ready to go, and then go to Gabriel and then play Harvest Time, or just go to an Angel for Bethlehem stable. So you're negating neutrals, and once you start negating neutrals, then you can drop Harvest Time. You can do that as well. So that's the other play that's really good. Like Harvest Time is good in Type 1. People just they don't like it. This card gets out all Lost Souls in every deck, and you can leverage that to your advantage. It's arguably the strongest card in the game. People just don't look at it that way. I know, I said it. So now we can kind of do our thing, Resurrection comes in, we grab that, and we kind of go right to it. And we can go to stable. So remember, if you play a hero first and then stable, remember what happened to Bethany? He played Justin. So Bethany banded before he did all the abilities, and since banding comes last, you miss out on the other abilities. Tough call, Bethany. That's you'll remember that one at Nats though. So, and he had a good attitude about it. I really like that video where Tim was saying like, Justin was right. I didn't play it, but I'd rather make a mistake there than make a mistake later, which I absolutely agree. So, I do think Tim's going to remember that at Nats. So let's see. So first we play our Fortress, and then we play our Empty Tomb hero. Now we have a lot of good heroes in our hand. If we want to get the D4, we can just go straight to Peter. And we get the D4 with Peter, and we can put Nazi down. We have Harvest Time in hand, so we can kind of wait one turn. We don't have to convert Simon, and then we can do that next turn. So it's really just a matter of who do we want. Like we have Mary, Salome, we got a D4 off Peter, or toss the next draw 2, or we get the Bandol. You know me, probably going to get that D4. So now we played our 2. And now our NT hero may band up to 3 New Testament human heroes. So we finish this ability first, and so we can go 1, and we can do a note. Jerusalem. And that's our 1. And then our 2. And then... Ooh, that's spicy. Because remember, if we bring in... He gets to band to a Jerusalem already. So... And then this gets to band to Martha. So we can bring in all our heroes if we want. 3. And then we can decide what triggers at this point. And then we can convert to draw 2. And then we can restrict evil doms and ban to Martha. And then if we wanted, we can ban to Pita. And we still don't have to flip them to play Nazi. We're getting a toss and a reserve, an evil card from their hand. Like, we're getting a lot here. So I'm not going to flip him. He is protected. And this is turn 1. I'm going to discard because it's an at any time. And I got a D4, and we're pretty much good to go. I don't see them being able to block that. Maybe they have like a Goliath, but it doesn't matter. I'll just destroy that, like I'm going to come in with any one of these 3. I don't know, maybe I won't destroy that. So if Goliath came in, yeah, I'd have to see how I wanted to play that. So yeah, Goliath might wreck me there. No, because Peter stays in because he's protected. So Peter would still stay in. Um, and then I can just bring in someone else. So it'd probably be Lazzy. And I could negate evil cards. I could flip them to negate evil cards and get the D1. So yeah, that's tough to stop right there. Maybe like a chump block. I'm afraid about putting everyone down. I probably wouldn't put him down. I'd probably put these two. And then pass turn. Um, we have a good block here with Goliath and a negate with everything out because remember, we're going to get a draw 1 off everything. And we have Humble, we're negating Band, we have Dole, and Salty's out. So they're not really doing too much against us right now. So I think like a Goliath with a negate with all my Lost Souls out with 2 Doles, pretty good, especially with Salty. So just look at it like this way. Look at it if my hand, deck, and reserve are protected. You can't play enhancements in territory. Every time you attack me, from now on, I'm getting a minimum draw 2. I search my deck. You can't band. And as long as you have hand advantage, I'm CBP. That's what you have to go up against. So you just enhanced your defense big time. And then with Bethlehem Stable, I go to the reserve for upkeep. And then I'm done with upkeep. I'm going to put down Gabriel. I'm now negating neutral cards. And I can't use Salty. Or I can't use Angel Appears. I don't need to. That's my only Angel anyway. Really, this is just a banding card now. And I can go straight into... I missed. I'd rather do that for upkeep. But I already played Gabriel, so I forgot. So technically, that's how it would be. I play Harvest Time for however much, probably 7. Get everything out of their deck. 3, 6, 7. Because now I'm negating the neutrals. And I can go ahead and Son of God 1. And now we have a massive band if we want. Where more than likely they're going to block us from hand. So we could either start with Gabriel and go to a big band, or we can start with Watchful Leaders and go to a big band. It's really whatever we want here. I like Watchful Leaders to Mary, to Martha, to Lazarus. And then from here, I'd probably flip Mary so I can get my negate neutrals back on. Right now, I'm just negating everything, sorry, and get the draw 3. They can't band, so really all I'd have to do, and that's why I played Son of God after Harvest Time. I would have already rescued their Humble. They have to stop a protected hero, reserve an evil card from hand. I get a draw 3. They're all CBN, these 3, and I'm negating evil cards. They can't band, and I still have an Angel Lord if I want to back it up. So you're just buffing up the Bethany trio even more, you know. So now my Resurrection Revealer's back on, negating neutrals. I feel very confident at this point. Nazi with Outsiders is really good. I don't have Nazi down yet. I could if I wanted, but Outsiders is really good. Outsiders is also really good when you play Glory of the Lord. I assume you know that, but I could drop Glory and then Outsiders you, but more than likely I have board advantage, so nothing I could do there. If I wanted to, I could go to Herdsman. I could go to Abimelech to Herdsman, or I can just go straight to Herdsman. It really just depends on what you block with. I really don't like this defense. This isn't my style of defense. I feel like it has a very finite number of blocks that people know about, but that is okay. I also don't like Nazareth in a deck with Saul. I feel like he's in a huge uphill battle between Glory of the Lord and Nazareth. So I don't really love Saul in this version. But yeah, I could have Goliath with woes isn't bad. Now from here, just going to Second Coming, to Son of God. We really just want to get, I don't know, what do we want to get? Oh, we skipped our upkeep, Tyler. We could get a huge block from hand. We can get our add to battle, which add to battle in this deck's insane because you're adding like a massive band regardless. Like you're either bringing in like the Bethany trio or Empty Tomb. Oops, I can't play anything that bounces because of Salty. Might want to rethink that with this build, right? Since I don't have Book of the Law right now. Anyway, still have plenty of good bands. What do I want to do? It'd probably be Gabriel to that's tough because I want to play Glory. Probably overthinking this. Like, how many characters do I want in battle? Probably be Martha to Lazzy. I get the draw 2. And then probably convert himself and still band. And then wait for them to block and drop Glory. I think that's pretty much GG's. Like that's tough to stop. So Priest of Zeus down, and it's okay to show Herdsman. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. I'm now getting into my negates, and we're going to get into our bounce. I could have played Nazi when I wanted to multiple times with Simon. Just didn't really feel like I had to. If I do a new game, go right into Salty, which we don't mind that. Like, we don't don't have a great hand here at all. Should have ended it on the last note, right? So if they go first and they get a Matthew, they get a D3, but we get a D3. We also have Stricken, though, so where we can play Stricken, and that alone will stop their Matthew. If they choose us to go first, we're kind of like, well, that sucks. We essentially lose a turn. If we choose, then we get to choose them, obviously. And I actually like Saul here with like a reserve and a tenants. If I have to use everything, I will. I don't really care. We just really don't have anyone to band in. We can band in Goliath, and then it kicks out Goliath, and then they'd be forced to bring in someone else. So, a couple things you can go. I just wanted to get a couple resources. Worst case, we give them Salty, and we go into Love Righteousness. Well, Salty kind of screwed us up, didn't it, guys? So from here, I'd go Martha with initiative, hopefully, and play Love Righteousness and get something going. Because we still have Banner of Love. So, yeah, I don't love the Salty up front. Because I got Peace and Love Righteousness. Like, the only other worst thing would have been take out Banner of Love for Angela Pierce. But, yeah, we can play it out real quick. And then we go into our Banner of Love. So, I mean, it's... Oh, what are you doing, Tyler? It's not a white hero. I was looking at the skin tone. Still not a white hero, right? And probably go to Lazzy. There you go. And then go to Lazarus. Bring in Lazzy and flip Lazzy and still get the draw 2 negate evil card. So we still made an attack out of that. Put down Priest of Zeus. And we can't negate neutrals yet, but it's not horrible if we play Harvest Time right now. Like getting to all those Lost Souls is really nice right away. And we get to have them out for our upkeep next turn. So it's not bad. You got to be aware that you're bringing out their Lost Souls when they're not negated. So if they hit us with Matthew, we're kind of happy because we also get a D4. So we have a lot here, whether it's Saul going draw 2 or taken from reserve. We definitely take from reserve and drop that and just kind of move on with life. If they went Glory of the Lord on Saul, like they baited, then you give them Salty and move on. So at least now we kind of can get everything going. So it took us an extra turn, but now we got Res Revealer to get to Res, and we still have heroes to band in. And then from there, it's just kind of the same exact ploy. So what do we want to do first? Probably get our stable going. And then we do have a dominant in hand, so we can bring in the Fisherman or Marry the Restored. We want to draw a little bit, so we're going to play Fisherman. And then we get to band in 3. And that's 1, 2, 3. And then we can show them the Dom. Honestly, we probably want to show them Harvest Time here. You get the draw 2. And reserve an evil card from their hand. Maybe end to Lazzy. Bethany heroes cannot be negated. And then we get the toss. And probably want the draw 2 here as well. And now we're set up. We're just tossing. We're not negating evil cards or anything. So we might have to use our woes in battle. But that's pretty much it. We could put down a couple heroes and kind of move on. But we're already set. Like we have Book of the Law and Bethany stable, Harvest Time, and now we're going to be negating neutrals. We're going to negate neutrals next turn, so I'll play it out one more. So we got Priest of Zeus, Resurrection Revealer, and kind of make them do something here and get a draw 3. And we can negate a card too. So I have no clue if that blocks. Probably doesn't. So don't forget your upkeep. Get your Gabriel. And then we don't have anything else on an upkeep side. We can drop Gabriel here. And we could flip up New Covenant. Just kind of see what we want first. Or we just go into Book of the Law and go right back to a big band. Sometimes I don't throw New Covenant down right away because I can use it off like a Herod the Great or something if they choose the hero. Now from here, they have to have an evil character down. Quite honestly, I'd probably just go into Harvest Time Get everything back out. And then we go Gabriel, Mary flip. 1, 2, 3, and we got them all. If we played if we could make New Testament meek tokens, or if we just played some meeks, not ideal, but getting Nicodemus to Mary to this is, a draw 5. It's extremely strong. So we can Gabriel negate, Mary comes in. If we think we need regardless of protection, we can flip. We're okay with that. And we could just do the full flip. It's fine. If we need to, we can 3 woes our own salty. So it's okay. And we would get a draw 2 or a take from reserve. I'm good with the draw 2. And they can't block us from hand, or we pretty much do whatever we want. So, and we still got the harvest time, so we probably would have played Son of God right away on their best one, even though they're negated. We don't have Nazi down, so we can Son of God Second Coming. Big band. I don't see them doing anything about that. We still have Glory. I really like negate banding with Glory. We have 2 ways to do it, plus Armor Bearer. So we're playing heavy good Doms for John the Fisherman, but we want to use Doms that also work for us defensively, and Harvest Time does. We could bring in Grapes of Wrath. We're just a very aggressive deck. I don't think we need to top deck anyone. Go into our stars, go into our upkeep, and we kind of pick what we want to do. Go into our reserve. A lot of options. And then from a bounce perspective, we already have Peter. We don't really do anything with Patmos. And now we can do the other band, right? So the only thing we didn't have... What are you doing? Get out of there. The only thing we didn't have was Peace. So that's 2 for 2, not having Peace. So that's something I would have to think of. I'd flip Mary, and then they have to stop this with an Angel. So just really leveraging really strong bands without needing to play banding enhancements is really nice. And having banding enhancements to back them up is really good. If maybe I relook at Peace in a salty build. That's dumb. But that's why we do these things, right? So if there's concepts you liked, this deck had a lot of them. If you're playing black-gray, think of 12-Finger Giant. If you're looking at just strong bands, this deck could easily have Matthew. It's just, I don't know. I don't really feel like playing Matthew. I don't like him. I'm seeing so... The reason everyone's playing black-gray is because y'all are playing Matthew. So, and no one's going to stop as long as he gets the hand look and the draw bunch. He's going to keep doing well. So, don't expect him to go anywhere. And then this is a very technical deck. I have a lot of different choices based on the board. I can play with Nazi. I can play without it. I can play through it. There's just a lot of ways to go about it. I think that's about it. Different Lost Souls here. So yeah, I like it if I get that Watchful Leaders with Peace going. It's really tough to stop with those 2 bands. You're just coming in and tossing everything, restricting DOMs, drawing. It's really, really good. It's more so just a matter of, is this the right deck for it? And maybe it isn't. So either way, hope you all saw some things in here that you liked and might have made you think a little bit. A lot of people get stuck on their dominance and their Lost Souls. They get stuck on those packages, and that's it. That's the only 7 they're using, and they just kind of copy paste and bring them in, and they don't even look at all of them in the game. I like to use Lackey because I can just filter by Lost Soul instead of going through all my cards. Just filter Lost Soul, and I just read all the Lost Souls, see how they apply to the current meta. But that's all I got today. I'm going to be rambling on, so I'll cut it because I know how I am. Appreciate y'all watching, and I'm excited to be on the threshing floor next week. I've been talking to Card Game Fanatic too. He wants me on to talk defense. Just been busy, so got to carve some time out there and get on his podcast and just talk about how to block, and that should be it. So keep prepping for Nats, and I'll keep pumping out videos. Thanks, y'all.